the next chapter going to continue with Gojo Vs Sukuna, or will it be a flashback, a different fight, or something completely and utterly different? Honestly, at this point, I have no idea. The way the pacing is, I could see JJK continuing with this fight, or starting to sprinkle out some more of the other characters within the background here. However, the flashback does feel like it will be the most probable outcome, and I only say this based off the last time that we saw Sukuna fight. It was against Yorozu, and she ended up giving us the most lore-filled Sukuna Heian era flashback that we've actually seen in the entire series. So, off the back of the last chapter, I wouldn't be surprised if we did go into that flashback based on the words that were seen there, which was Yorozu's final statement of, "I will be the one to teach you about love." However, in this scenario, it's actually Sukuna looking lovingly at Gojo, and the shippers somewhere are just absolutely going crazy off that line. I can just feel it. By the way, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. We just crossed 14,000 subscribers, which is massive. So if you want that extra PP energy buff on the way up to 15,000 subscribers, I suggest you make sure you like the video and you subscribe to the channel. Always helps me out. Appreciate you. Hey Weeb, what are your thoughts on Kenny absorbing Gojo after the fight due to it looking like Gojo will go brain dead before the end of the fight? Hey, listen, at first, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you, and I mean this in the most respectful, non-insulting way. When I looked at that question, I was like, what the f are you talking about? Gojo isn't a case. But then it dawned on me, I'm actually the brain dead one, and I'm actually an idiot. And then you got my crackpot theory brain turning, and you all know I love me some crackpot theory shit. So get ready, hold on to your fucking hats, because I'm cooking some methamphetamine right here. Gojo is the descendant of one vengeful case spirit known as Sugawara Michizane, and right now we know he's in a position where he could die from something that actually isn't Jujutsu, just like the original comment said, and that's brain damage. Now bear with me, because I've said I'm cooking straight meth here. JJK has shown that nosebleed of Gojo's twice now. Now the third one could be the third and final time in which Gojo finally does succumb to these injuries of severe brain damage and comes back a couple chapters later to finish off Sukuna. And at this point, Sukuna then switches out to his forearms mode because Gojo would no longer be a sorcerer, and that form that Sukuna is in right now is what he said is better for fighting sorcerers. At that point, if Gojo comes back as a verseful Ken spirit, and at that point, if Gojo comes back as a cursed vengeful spirit, that man is no longer a sorcerer. He's a fucking demon, and he's coming back to throw straight hands. So with that being said, there is the possibility that Gojo does come back, and it's been hinted. Like, let's be real here, him being the descendant of an already pre-existing big three vengeful cursed spirit kind of sets that in stone. So if that did happen, I could see that coming, and that's a callback all the way to Jujutsu Kaisen 0 that JJK might have just sowed those seeds right there. So this is a really good question, and I could actually see this kind of shit happening. But the problem is that when Gojo comes back as that, he's obviously going to get a significant power buff. That motherfucker is going to be O-fucking-P. So whatever the fuck Sukuna brings out after this is going to be even worse. So yeah, but I could see this happening. Truly, I could see this happening. Okay, listen, I know I was cooking a straight methamphetamine with that one, but you know how it is. You know how we do this shit around here. Do you think the Madoka Dia is a reference to Madoka Magica? No. If Sukuna was in someone else's body who is unimportant to Gojo, how do you think Sukuna and the fight would have gone? I think Gojo would have killed Sukuna 10 times with purples by now. Honestly, I genuinely think it's hard to say at this point. Let's say Sukuna somehow stole a random body and reincarnated. For a start, he wouldn't have access to the 10 shadows, and right now we know that that is a big trump card for Sukuna to deal with Gojo's technique. But again, we really don't know what else he's got up his sleeves. Outside of that fire arrow, we genuinely don't know what he has. He could be sat on something truly insane. There is still those case tools that he's been depicted with, so honestly, I genuinely do think it is very hard to say. However, I do think it will still be a fairly even fight, even in the way that it is right now. What do you think of round 2, Gojo vs Sukuna, and what it will bring out over the first round? Because the first round felt so insane. Sorry, I totally reworded your question here. But I think the round 1 was just domain clash galore. We saw so many domains, and we finally got our answers as to what happens between a barrier domain and an open domain, and there was almost barely any case technique usage. Like, if it wasn't in a domain, there was barely anything outside of that. I think the most case technique that we saw from Sukuna outside of a domain was a cleave on a building or a dismantle on a building, and then Gojo used blue a few times to pull Sukuna in, but that was in a domain. I think he's used it a couple of times outside, and then he fired a red outside of a domain. I mean, technically that wasn't even outside of a domain, that was still within Sukuna's domain. So again, outside outside of actual domain clashes, we haven't seen much chaos technique usage outside of that, which is kind of crazy. But I do think this is where we are going to get into the really nitty-gritty hand-to-hand stuff. I think we're going to see even more techniques from Sukuna. Either this, or he starts to just actually take a backseat with the fight and starts to rely on the 10 shadows and let them do the heavy lifting while he recovers his strength to just open up another domain. Because we know right now domains are off the table for Gojo, but there is that still possibility of Sukuna being able to open one because he hasn't healed his brain as much as Gojo has. So there is that possibility right now. But that one would make the most sense purely because it already fits the pre-existing narrative of a previous 6 Eyes user and a previous 10 Shadows user having killed each other in the past. And the longer this fight goes on, I'm genuinely starting to change my opinion that these two might actually just repeat history, or they could prove me totally wrong and they could just absolutely shatter our minds on just everything that's going on right now. But that is everything from me. Once again, massive shout out to all the channel members. If you see your name on this list, then congratulations on having a massive cock. And also just a quick thank you to everyone for getting me through 14,000 subscribers. That shit is genuinely wild. It's been a crazy couple of months, and I genuinely can't express how fucking thankful I am for all of you being here. It genuinely means a lot to me. Just everyone's coming here, vibing with my videos, vibing in the live streams, vibing in the discords. It genuinely truly means more than you guys will ever know, so I really do appreciate it. But as always, that is everything from me. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe and all that good shit. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Much love, big kisses, peace.